So I just got an email. This email, you will die within a few minutes.
No, it's not.
Bruh. You know what? You know what I think about this email? It's just bull. I'm just gonna wait a few minutes then to wait for my death, you know. Like for real. I don't know how close I'm to the camera.
So I need to make the.
How close am I?
I need to get a bunch of barriers.
Don't.
Hello people of the internet, my name is Julian and today I'm reviewing an old horror movie that I used to watch as a kid called Chainman. If you haven't watched any horror movies on the Syfy channel in the late 2000s, you missed a golden era of B-rated movies. We're talking about bad script writing and poorly made CGI monsters. Chainletter had a budget of $3 million, and the movie's expectations did not live up to its hype, only rounding up $585,000 in the box office, which is a big bombshell. The movie was badly reviewed for being incoherent, out of pace, sloppy screenplay, and example of torture porn, which this movie came out 6 years after the first Saw movie. Directed by Deon Taylor, who created Meet the Blacks and The Intruder, and produced by Michael J. Pagan and screenwriter Diana Irwin. The trio worked on the script about 6 friends who were stalked by a murderer that uses chains to kill people if they don't send on their message, which sounds like a cool idea. The premise of the movie is about this old legend about mail being cursed, and if you don't send it on to another person, your life is gonna get worse. Which rhymed a bit. There are countless videos on YouTube saying people's lives were ruined because they did not send on the message. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let's get to the movie and the methods of this killer. The movie opens up to some text. And we are all connected, meaning that the internet is connected to all of us, allowing us to send messages to people we don't know. Jumping to a woman in the bathroom with the news broadcast playing.
Carlton Police Department with a shocking new development in the teen murder spree. Investigating these heinous crimes has now gone missing.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, because you're getting a jump cut to the killer from behind. This happens a lot in the movie, which honestly feels out of place. What I'm assuming is their way to introduce the killer, but they could have done it differently if they kept him in the background for a while. Or delete this thing entirely because it doesn't make sense to start off with. You'll understand why. The killer duct tapes his victim and chained them to those 2 well-kept vehicles. Also, the killer does not appear to be wearing gloves. They could have tracked down his identity a lot sooner, but hey, people in horror movies are dumb, so go along with it. We get our first death in the movie before the cool slashing title card we get. I'm not gonna pull a James H. Niece on this. I'm not kill counting for poorly made movies. After the title card, we get some news broadcasts. I would have preferred this to be the start of the movie than the kill because there was no build up on that kill. We got a pretty much gruesome death of that person we don't even know. The news broadcast explains how technology in the US is tampering with the privacy of Americans.
Do we know that it isn't being hacked and used by outside forces?
And there's a bit of information that I'm going to be taking from that. Let's just grab that and put it in our back pockets. We meet our protagonist of the movie, Jesse Campbell, played by Nikki Reed, who was also in the Twilight Saga, and her friend Rachel Connors, played by Shirley Wilson. They're talking about boys and pervs on the internet, which it should be a life lesson to everybody who uses the internet.
Oh my god, he turned out to be a total perv. I found out he was like 40 or something when he was claiming to be 18.
Rachel got an email from this guy named Ghetto Pirate, which sounds like our killer, but it wasn't properly explained. I don't know why they put it there. They could have done catfishing, but hey, who can argue with a barcode and a guy named Ghetto Pirate? Arg, give me me privacy. I look like an idiot. We get to meet the rest of the cast at school. Matt Conan as Johnny Jones, producer of the movie as Michael. He could have come up with a better name than his, I guess. And finally, Rachel's brother, Neil, played by Cody Cash, who reminds me of my friend in high school.
But I don't give a shit, okay? I was jacking off, all right? That's what I was doing. That's really funny. Yeah, fuck you, you jack off.
Then we get one of the most simpiest people of the movie, Dante, played by Noah Segan. Oh my god, this guy. He tries to get into Jesse's DMs.
I picked it down this street.
It's pretty.
I walk you to class.
Honestly, I would like to be in this class with Mr. Smicker, aka Brad Dourif, the man who traumatized my childhood. He's teaching about the lack of privacy and how evil technology is.
Here, I would like some privacy with this class. But modern technology prevents me from doing that.
Neil's gaming up like a sweat, then he gets a DM from a stranger for congratulating him on his sweats. Better be careful because it's a chain letter! His sister explains what a chain letter is.
You don't delete these, Neil. They threaten really terrible things, and it's like, why take the chance? It freaks me out if I don't.
She answers the name of her friends, which sounds like a great idea, and Neil had enough. Telling his sister to leave, we get a bit of brother and sister bonding.
If you must know, it was your doctor, Neil. He's really sorry, but, surgery's just not an option. There's nothing they can do about your midget penis.
Oh. Well, that sucks. I guess I'll just have to fuck a midget.
Gotta love your siblings. Neil adds his sister for the final name of the chain, and here we go into this cool techie transition scene to Johnny.
Chain letter. Thanks, dick. I break the chain, lose a life. Are you fucking kidding me? Delete.
He made the most fatal mistake of his life. We get to the group at this gaming place, which I actually need in my hometown. Come on, please. Please, Kentucky, do something nice. Just receive the chain. This is where we find out that Dante does not have a phone, and his reasons for that?
You got a phone? I'm just not into the whole phone movement.
But it turns out you can still receive a message from any device. As of this time era, we're talking about a computer, like a very old computer. Then we probably get to the weirdest part of the movie of a false jump scare. Don't turn around, don't turn, damn it, she turned around. Nothing to worry about, just a stranger walking away from the ladies' restroom. We get to Johnny getting his game on. We get another delete from this guy named Kevin. Bye-bye, Kevin. When Johnny starts to pump his legs, this weird glitch effect that I have questions about affected Johnny's workout. Killer's way to get to people by using a high-pitched sound. I don't get that. Well, he's down. We get a good look at the killer's face with bandages and fingerless gloves. Even chain tattoos? Whose idea was this? The dude carries a switchblade, so his methods are pretty much anything. What a torturous death, dude. We head over to Dante's where he got the message.
Chain letter. Junk mail.
And we also get some cuts to the killer being an expert hacker. We meet our detective of the movie at the place of the murder, Jim Crenshaw, aka the legendary actor Keith David. Recognize him from many animated shows and movies, like Atlas from Teen Titans.
No one defeats Atlas.
Nothing interesting happens during the investigation, except for the chains. You need to keep both eyes open, Crenshaw. We head to the cemetery on a rainy day. That's where Detective Crenshaw did the interviewing. With the poorly cut, I guess it was supposed to be an interruption.
I know this is a painful time.
Bullshit, that's what it is.
I hope you have some answers, Detective.
Not yet.
3 days and your people don't have anything yet? Maybe you should figure something out before another one of these kids dies.
Well, they're right. The police can't do anything. Back again at Dante's, working on his car like the simp he is, trying to get into those DMs. We're introduced to Carlos, my Latino brother, also helping his bro to become an ultra simp.
What happened, huh? Working on it. Give me something concrete. First base, second base. Well, when this is all done, you'll be hitting home runs now.
They can't stop. After a cringy attempt on a pickup line, the killers started to mess around with the engine. Well, that was a fault. Never mind. The police are still trying to figure out who the culprit is, pretty much with no leads, except with another news broadcast.
Of the brutal killings of 2 students, with 1 student still missing, in crimes that have shocked and outraged Carlson.
The media is faster than the police than ever. Back to Mr. Snicker's class, talking about what happened with those incidents calmly.
You've all had a couple of days off to deal with the tragic events that have touched this school community.
The bell rang. We had some one-on-one talk with Smicker and Jesse.
Tragic, terrible news. So I want you to take all the time that you need.
I bet his sexual fantasies is being tied up with the turkey baster of his rectum. Moving on to Crenshaw at this strange location with no prior information on why he's doing there, we got a background jump scare, which those are losing touch in horror movies now. We get a quick transition to Crenshaw walking into somebody's home. Be careful, Crenshaw, or you're gonna get a cheap jump scare.
What are you doing?
Crenshaw tries to get information off this guy, but it ended up with pretty much bitterness. The dude is gonna be somewhat important later on, I guess. Jesse's researching on her essay, and that's when we have these weird cuts to the killer, causing her to realize what we knew from the very start.
You gotta pass it on.
Finally! No luck on calling Rachel because we get this bathtub scene, which, you know, she's gonna die, no matter what. The glitch effect happens in a loud pitch, causing her to check out the place. No one except for Bandage Man. He got a few whips on her before Rachel ended up locking herself in the bathroom. The only weapon she has is a toilet lid. But that won't stop Bandage Man because he ran through the fucking wall and got us another death like a fucking badass he is. The actor who plays Chainman, which is pretty much a stale name, is Michael Bailey Smith, who is Super Freddy in the 5th installment of the Nightmare on Elm Street film. He also appeared on The Hill Has Eyes as Pluto, and the second one as Papa Hades. We're talking about the remake. The police arrives and Crenshaw takes a good look at the place. That's when Jesse spills the beans about the chain letters. Crenshaw straight up tells the girl to mail in chain letters. If they haven't learned anything, just don't do it. Back at the office, we meet Detective Wiggins. Fun fact, he's actually voiced by Roger Rabbit. Why? We get some insight on Crenshaw's past about breaking a cult. How do you do it, Mr. Crenshaw?
1996, I believe it was the year that you broke the Browning Brother cult. How'd you do it?
Just instinct.
Oh. Okay. We start to get some leads on the case with this anti-tech group. I don't know why.
It was about technology, anti-technology.
Amtech.
That's it? Yeah. Okay, that's it, Amtech. Yeah. They were apocalyptic Luddites, right? They hated computers, the internet. It was about technology, anti-technology.
Amtech.
That's it? Yeah. Okay, that's it, Amtech. Yeah. They were apocalyptic Luddites, right?
What? Hold up.
Hated computers, the internet.
Antech.
Back to Jessie, who's moping around on the loss of her friend and doing her own research. I'm really impressed with her character, that she's doing better than the police. We get to the point that most people with smartphones are afraid of, being located.
Someone's tracking us.
Another glitch effect happens, and that's when we learn that the killer can see through your webcam. That's why I'm protected with the state-of-the-art Trend Micro Cam blocker, so fuck you, hackers. She calls up the lads on her found research. Neil had a mental freakout, which causes him to admit he was the one who sent the letters, and showing his dominance, he sends them again and pulls out a gun on Michael. Think he's off the hook. He got another letter from the killer. Big oof for doing that, dude. At Neil's, we see him wandering around, getting messages from the killer on his computer. He finally snaps and deletes the message. Problem solved, right?
Fucking message, man. Why don't you come and get me? You fucking come and get me.
When I was a kid, I saw this and I was terrified for almost a week. I couldn't even do anything. I was that terrified. This will go down to be one of the most memorable kills for me as a child. Crenshaw went to a meat packing plant after getting some intel from that guy who he just walked into somebody's home. We also get some information from Jesse about a possible group known as the Technology Terrorist Group. They could have come up with a better name. I don't know why they chose Technology Terrorists. Because what I'm about to say does not make sense. Jesse explains why their barcodes.
They brand themselves with barcodes to demonstrate how technology destroys individual identity.
And we see rows of change, which are supposed to be scary. I don't know why. It's just they're just rows of chains. I'm assuming it's like a home alarm system. Anyway, we get to manage to see Kevin again, which she's supposed to be dead after 24 hours. Crenshaw tries to help Kevin, but he sets him on fire after triggering a laser tripwire. So what I just said contradicted about the group the supposed killer's in. He's using technology. Heck, I don't know anymore. I just don't know. Continuing, this leads to possibly one of the worst weird cuts I've ever seen. I don't understand why it's doing there. It just does not make sense. I don't know how Crenshaw got this. I just don't understand. Crenshaw finds out that Detective Wiggins is not Detective Wiggins, but an imposter. We also had this cut again to Mr. Smicker being part of the cult because they have this like barcode on his hand. It just does not make sense. Crenshaw gets killed by Bandaged Man. A flash realization moment, Jessie destroys all of her technology. She heads to the bed and lies there for a while. What's that? Her phone is ringing, and it's 3:32. Damn, Devil's Hour is ready for a jump scare in a dream. She gets up and changes her clothes like it's going to change anything. Then it fades to black. It's 7:15 and wait a minute. This place looks familiar. Wait, is this the start of the movie? Come on! Our protagonist sadly dies and her body was dragged against. Oh my god. This movie is honestly a mess. The movie ends with a glitchy transition of the counting process of chain letters. There could have been a sequel. Due to the movie's failure, we never got that sequel. Rewatching that movie made me realize how poorly done it was made. It did not make sense at all. If they cut out the scene at the beginning, it would have been a lot more effective. Maybe a better reasoning on why the cold haze technology, or better yet, drop the entire thing, but he's hating on technology. Like, it does not make any sense. By far, one of the most confusing and bizarre movies I ever seen in my life. As for the killer, we're gonna be talking about him. Instead of me copying Dead Meat's content, I'll be explaining the killer instead. What we got from the film, it's pretty much weird. The killer was in the U.S. Elite Special Ops team, but his squad was ambushed and killed, making him the only survivor of the group. He was tortured by terrorists in Afghanistan during the war. He returned to the U.S. trying to make a recovery. That's when the soldier who is doing all the killing stands against the government.
Because he had it on.
A special ops soldier infiltrates a terrorist camp, gets captured, all because his cell phone was tapped?
He was severely wounded and in the hospital, so he ditched it and lived in one of those old plants for his safety. The reason why chains are so significant is because his father was the local blacksmith named Wilson, but he died after the war. I'm probably assuming he was killed by a teen on their cell phone while driving. We never got the sequel to understand it, because the whole cold thing with the technology and his motive of why he kills does not make sense. Because him hating on technology and him using technology with an expert level of hacking, you can't find any link to that. Chainman has military experience. He's really great in his physicality because he broke down that wall without even feeling pain, so we know he has a high resistance tolerance. And what I'm assuming is he also has PTSD because people who are tortured or have been in war will likely have PTSD later on their life. And a technology whiz, but the whole thing just makes it confusing. This is the end card. My brother's playing in the background, so just don't bother him. I decided to move spaces because there's much better room in here. I have my own table. We just added it. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna keep doing this till I guess I get to college, which is I'm gonna take a year off and go to college, which is like 2 years. Maybe it gives me some time to evaluate what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use this as a portfolio. You can see his epic gameplay in the background. You can see my brother's. Okay, I missed a few things in the review I made. So his dad was probably in the cult because it makes sense with him using his chains, and everybody has barcodes, which I don't get, but it's probably not official to think about. And I forgot about his versatility, which he can pick up anything in the house, so keep an eye on that. But his primary weapon is his switchblade and his chains that has a hook on the end, so yeah. I missed those. I forgot to add them. But all of that was like almost a month ago, and I started to edit today as I'm recording this because I got my motivation back. And I guess that's it. I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna review a non-horror movie. It's this movie my friend showed me on YouTube. I just can't wait to look into it. And oh boy, it's gonna be a doozy. I'll figure out the killer, not the killer. I'll figure out the villain's motivation and see where it goes from there. Like, comment, and subscribe, and follow my medias down below. Peace. I'll leave my brother's gameplay running, I guess.